Games, board games. I might be talking about board games, but I'm not gonna shout. No, no, no. I am starting off this streaming with a little bit of singing, and then I guess I'll have a bit of a lark. I'll be unboxing the game known as Dice Theme Park, and there are some extras, but that is not all. I'll also unbox Dice Hospital. Board games is what I'm talking about. So many boxes, and I'm not gonna shout. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. I am Bez. It is 10 a.m.ish UK time. Time for another Bezzy Beats and Board Game Blether. And yeah, today, as you'll have noticed by the giant stack of boxes here, let me actually do that so you can see slightly more of it. I am going to be unboxing all these things, and just to get my bias out of the way, I did used to work for Alicat Games. I was an in-house developer, and I plan to submit something for them. I got all these games essentially because of my relationship. So I didn't actually pay money for these games. These were because of services rendered, our relationship, and yeah, so that I might be in a place to potentially design another dice game. We'll see what happens. And hello, Timmy. It is lovely to see you. So before we get to all the unboxing, let me go through the recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights, recent highlights. So my recent highlights, a bit of cooking, did a lot of posting yesterday. I managed to finish off all the postings. So now there's 98 people who are getting games delivered to them because of my latest Kickstarter, which is quite cool. And that's pretty much it. Bits of chat, arranged to hang out with Kathleen Mercury in a couple of weeks. I'm excited about that. What are some of your recent highlights? I'm going to say my brilliant thing. What's a little thing which is brilliant? Why are unboxings brilliant? I think that, there is an excitement because right now there's this shrink wrap. And when I open it up, this could be basically anything. I mean, you know what it is, and maybe you've seen one of these other boxes, but there's the sense of, the smell and the excitement. Is that excitement all to do with the shrink wrap, though? I think that even if we got rid of the shrink wrap, even if it was less pristine, I think that the unboxing of a second-hand game is still exciting. Just being like, okay, what's going on here? What are we going to see? It's the excitement of the unknown, the slight curiosity gap. I think that's the interesting thing about unboxings. So feel free to comment, ask questions, follow as always. Otherwise, I am going to get on with it. And good morning, Josie. It is lovely to see you. So Josie says, oh, look at all those dice games. I've only ever played Dice Hospital and Board Game Arena. And so once more, just to say my bias, I did not pay for these. These were because of services rendered. I did used to be a developer, and I'm planning to work with them in the future. So let's move that up there, and let's move that box out of the way as well. Ignore the stuff clattering to the floor. It's all fine. Let's start off with Dice Hospital Community Role. This I might give a little bit of commentary on the things. Like, this is apparently Matthew Dunstan and Brett J. Gilbert. I don't know why I say apparently. I'm sure, it's not a thing that everyone's trying to pull over their heads. Matthew Dunstan and Brett Gilbert, very prolific people. I saw them both at UK Games Expo. Matthew came over to say hello. And then I saw them both on Sunday just before we went to the restaurant, and there's the cellophane off. I'm going to put that in the box beside me. 1 to 6 players. So we were thinking about playing this with 7 players, and so I have already seen this one because of Jane's copy. And there's a bunch of cards, and apparently there's some drafting going on. 6 pencils, that makes sense. Some dice to roll. You've got some instructions. Yep, I already saw these instructions, and it looked like there was some drafting. I don't know much at all about these games, but I'll definitely be playing that solo, if nothing else, quite soon. And I guess all of these are identical. Yes, all of them are identical. I'm going to put it back down the other way too. Ooh, doesn't quite fit. But let's see. It's always, can you find the tear tab? Okay. Comes off like a charm. Epidemiologist. So there's some sort of victory points there, some different numbers for the solo game. That makes sense because solo versus non-solo, there's a big difference. And it looks like all of these cards are unique and giving you special effects. And there's the, yeah, these are some cards. I think there's some drafting going on, but I will give a fuller overview once I've actually had a chance to play. Oh, what's this? Chief, I guess that's like, oh yeah, that's like the start player card. Cool, that makes sense. And looking at the credits, I wonder if it was by David Digby. Playtesting David Digby. Solo game Nick Shaw. There we go. So solo game by Nick Shaw. Congratulations, Nick Shaw, because yeah, I'm sure it's a solid design given Matthew Dunstan, Brett J. Gilbert, Jackie Davis, Sebastian Cosine, that's been used by Alley Cat Games for many times. Nick Shaw, all these people, most of them I know. I think that 2 of them I've not spoken to, but lovely people, and I'm excited to see what they've all made together. Boom. So is this the only roll and write one out of the series? Yes, it is the only roll and write one out of the series, Josie, but all of them, I believe, have a solo mode. So there we go. Now let's start off in the order that I put them in. So this is Dice Hospital. This is where it all started. So this is Alley Cat Games' biggest game by a fair margin, you might say. I mean, it's what they're best known for, at least in the hobby circles. And it did really well. And some people are already saying that they prefer Dice Theme Park, which is really exciting for them. So congratulations. As you can see, it won the UK Games Expo Awards at the last proper UK Games Expo 2019. I mean the last one before 2022. I mean 2021 was kind of half size, and 2020 doesn't count because it was online. But let me just shimmy these things over, avoid knocking more things onto the floor. There we go. Get those out of the way. So Dice Hospital, again, Sabrina Miramon, a lovely illustrator. I really enjoyed working alongside them. And being on a boat ride with them. They're a lovely person. And Stan, who submitted the game, I played it in that original form, and Mike Nudd, who did so much development that you might almost, was one of the most intense redevelopments that I've seen, where it's almost closer to a redesign. Oh, there's a little postcard about their stuff. That makes sense. Okay, so they're trying to upsell you, tell you about Tungaru, which I worked on, the app, Community Care, and Chocolate Factory, which I also worked on. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't get any royalties from those. I was a developer, but if you enjoy those games, if you feel like Chocolate Factory is particularly balanced, then I'll smile a wee bit. I mean, there was literally like 2 numbers that I changed. like Matthew Dunstan and Brett Gilbert do an amazing job. If you look at the credits here, we've got Stan and Mike Nudd, original concept Stan, just to make it clear, illustration Sabrina. Yeah, he doesn't need the publisher Alley Cat Games, it's already there on the box. Developers is Zara Al-Jassar and Mike Nudd. I mean, Mike Nudd did a lot more work. It's really interesting because these credits only tell you tiny parts of the story. And yeah, like graphic design, what does that mean? Like Seb made some of the icons. Seb did some things that you might think were the illustrator, but totally aren't. But yeah, so we've got a whole bunch of stuff to punch out. We've got your individual player boards and yeah, I love this. This is a game essentially about adding extra tiles, adding extra abilities. You're forced to improve your engine. You get more stuff every turn, and eventually you're going to be upgrading these dice, and they come in resealable plastic bags, which is good, as opposed, for a moment there, I thought they were the non-resealable ones, but these ones, you can use them multiple times. So at least, you know, it's not a single-use plastic. That's good to see. And here's the tiny little cards. So yes, as I can't remember, did it say in the rule sheets who did the solo mode? I honestly can't remember. I want to say it's David Sigby, but I'm just going to, I'll check at the end. All the little meeples. So all of these are doctors or nurses, and I guess all of them are physicians of some sorts. Like, and here you've got the pictures of all the people and all these humans, which is kind of weird. So like, the humans are represented by the meeples, and then the meeples are represented by the dice. So the dice are representing people to be, you know, to have their health improved, but then the humans are also, so are there actually two master races in this universe? It's like one of those things that it makes sense if you don't think about it too hard. And honestly, it is a lovely game. I've played it a few times, and I played it, I want to say, when we just had the preview copy. I helped decide the colors for things. I'm not sure the colors were the perfect. Not particularly proud of I didn't do very much. All cards for all the people. You've got the surgeon. You can see there's a lot of duplicates. A lot of these cards are people who backed the Kickstarter and said, hey, I would like to be part of this. And there we've got Chewie, who is always, haha, I am a radiologist in real life, and I am a radiologist in the game, which is quite cool. So we've got the nurses, the general practitioner, paramedic, and administrator cards, which, yeah, I feel like these ones, if I'm remembering correctly, these could have maybe had a different card back, but you can always think about these things. And I do like how they've got a little graphic, which is just to make it look more like a little, hey, this is me card. Boom. Lots of people. And then the special abilities stuff going on. Again, do not take anything that I'm saying about the rules as gospel. I cannot remember everything about my own games all the time, let alone something that someone else designed. And when we get to, you know, the expansions, I really didn't have anything to do with them. But there's all sorts of wee things, and these are all designed to look like one of those little pagers that doctors carry. This is where the dice go on the little cards, and these are some extra abilities. Boom. That looks good. And I am genuinely really looking forward to giving it to go one player, because in all my testing in the office, Never played it one player. And let me rotate this back. There we go. And glossary at the back. Yeah, was it Mike who did the solo design? I can't remember who did the solo design. And we've got playtester awards to people because it did go through a lot of playtesting, and even some people that you might know from Big Talk, like Chris Bromley. And I think that is part of the success of the game. Definitely after the first few games, this was like, okay, we are really stepping it up. This is a solid idea, and we are going to knock it out of the park. And so, of course, with the original Kickstarter, there was the deluxe add-ons. What do you get in the deluxe add-ons? I don't hear you ask, because obviously it is a stream, and unless you were actually in the room, or I guess you could like potentially phone me, or like, we could set up a system for me to hear you, but we haven't. So here again, some extra bits. Got some slight tweaks on the rooms that you can get, and then you've got a little thing that you can assemble. I'll maybe do that on camera, and then, oh yeah, rather than just having blood counters on little bits of cardboard, you can have them on chunky bits of wood. That is an option for you. And what is in here? We've got stickers. Let's get these out first. So you've got these 3D, not 3D printed. I mean, if they were 3D printed, they would have like the ridges, but these are like really smooth with really nice details. And I've seen people painting these minis, and they are quite cool. So let's get those out so that I can take this one out. One, there we go. Experimental chemist. Okay, I assume there's a little whoop, whoop. Getting the cards out. Clearly with the same back, you need to mix them together. And experimental chemist, physiotherapist, registrar, pathologist, hematology technician, cool, medical student. And so those are some extra things you can add to the game, I guess. And now it's out of the package, I can get it a lot more easily. And of course it was only put, and where do these numbers go? Maybe on the bonnets of the cards, I guess. But that will be nice to check out. Pop that back, and yep, there's little divots so that you can put in the things when it's assembled rather than just during packing up, which is always appreciated. So let's put that to the side, and let's go with the expansion. Dice Hospital, Community Care. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4 bits in it. The city expansion, where you're actually moving around the city. Josie says the upgrade isn't really needed for the game. It just seems like a lot more shelf space to have more plastic. Yeah, I would agree that absolutely the deluxe add-ons, as you would probably infer from the name deluxe add-ons, you never, if anything says deluxe, you don't really need it. Come on. And, you know, this applies to, you know, the Castles of Burgundy thing and Zero that people have been talking about recently. And the truth is that little deluxe add-ons are quite often how the companies make more money per unit. But, you know, I'm not going to shame anyone for, like, I'm not going to say anything. I think it, if you really want, the 3D printed stuff, well, not 3D printed, sorry, I keep saying that. It's not 3D printed, it's just 3D. If you really want the extra stuff, if you're like, oh, I need to have this extra stuff, then you can. And it's entirely up to you. I think that, look, this isn't about, and I don't want to make this about Tallycat Games, but just in general, let me actually get rid of this for a moment. Just in general, like if you are buying a deluxe copy of a game, I mean, yeah, there's always a sense of, do you really need it? And for sure, there was, I want to say, 2 people who actually went all in on my recent Kickstarter, where I had 5 different boxes, and then I had to sort out the 5 different boxes, and it was a bit of a headache. But, people judged, this is what I enjoy, this is what I appreciate. And if you've played a game, if you feel like, yeah, this game is bringing me value, or if you are able to predict that this game is going to bring you massive value, then go for it, and it feels worthwhile. But that's a judgment call for you, for how much money you have, and all those things. Anyway, that was not about Tallycat Games or any other specific company, that's just general. And Josie says, I get the idea of an expansion rather than deluxe upgrade, so I'd prefer it to be in one box, have a deluxe box or a standard. That makes sense. And I know that's what they did for Chocolate Factory, where the deluxe box, you've got a sleeve on it, and it's exactly the same, but it has some extra bits inside the box. But in terms of printing, it's just slightly cheaper. This keeps drifting, I feel. Do I need to put a wee handbag on the other side of that? Okay. So, Dice Hospital, Community Care. So it's got the city expansion, where you're moving around things. Maternity expansion, where we've got pink dice, and there's a maternity ward where babies are being born. Investments expansion, where not quite sure about that. And of course, the solo thing to make it all work. And let's shimmy it out. I can feel that this nice box for it. Another one of these. Oh, this is a different little thing. So advertising Chocolate Factory, Tungaru, and Cat Cafe. So you've got the rule book, which is a wee bit smaller than the box. I mean, ideally, I always prefer rule books to be exactly the same size as a box, but this is at least quite a handy, size. It seems to work well. It's not too small. Like, I've seen worse. I've seen like the Battleship, where it's teeny tiny bits of it. It looks like all of these expansions are things that you can add one at a time. And if you're combining them, then if you do City and Investments, change these things. City and Maternity, change these things. Investments and Maternity, change these things. And all expansions take the above things into account. And then the Solo Ultima. And it is always going to be easier learning it with more than one player, because Solo Ultima, you not only have to worry about what the player does, but also what the robot does. And again, game designer Mike Nudd. So even though it was an idea by Stan, all the work was Mike. Mark Houghton, original concept. Simon Milburn and Nick Shaw. So Simon's become an ever-increasing big part of Alley Cat Games. Also part of Dranda Games, working on their own stuff. Sabrina came back to illustrate it. Cesar and Simon being the lead developers at the time. Brett was consulting every so often. And yeah, there's a lot of people involved. Yeah. Josie asked, do you play the expansion separately or all together? I answered that, so you can do as you wish. So first time you should do them one at a time, and then once you've learnt it, then you can mix them up. I'd be interested to hear your opinion on the expansions once you've tried them. Absolutely. Although bear in mind, again, like, I'm somewhat biased. Oh, is that one more player board? Is that so that it can go up to one more players? Yes. So this one's 1 to 5. So there's one more player board. That makes absolute sense. Yeah, because then you've got the little maternity wards. You've got that. It's so cute, and they're having wee babies. And then some more stuff. And where's the city tiles? I remember. Oh, that's the city part, I think. Yeah. Let me go through. Or no, I think you make the city with these things. That's what's going on. There we go. That's the city tiles that make the road, and then you move your helicopter around, I want to say. Again, don't trust me on the rules of anything, but yeah, that's what's going on there. Then we've got a lot of more city blocks, because obviously you need to make a big city, and some of them are corners, some of them are crossroads, and yeah, we're going to make a city. I will probably play one of them solo. Oh, that's so cute. So you've got the little pink and white nurses and doctors and other physicians. You've got these little vaccine injection things and the little pill bottle things. Don't know what's going on there. You've got some more dice for the main game, I guess. And these are people who are not ill, but they just want babies. And there's the tiny little babies. I mean, look at that. That is quite cute. There we go. Can you see that? That is super cute. Josie says, interesting. As you've read through the developers, etc., it's interesting to hear a lack of identifiable female representation. Yeah, that's a general issue with the industry, I would say. I mean, I think that Alley Cat's games are definitely not, worse. They're not culprits. But, yeah. It's just a problem with... Ooh, that's quite fun. Like, this is just a big... You know what? I quite like the idea of there being one kind of landmark bit of plastic. Like, not more, but just one bit. It feels like, okay, we can have... It could have been something constructed out of cardboard, which might have been even better, but I do like the idea of there being one thing in the middle of the game to kind of feel like, ooh, that's nice. And I do like the fact that, just playing with this is pleasing to me in a sensory way. So I can imagine myself having minutes of fun just spinning that before I even play the game. Get that stuff back in there. Open up the... There we go. It's very obvious, but still, since UK Games Expo, my nails are not as good. I need to get them sorted out. Scrub nurse, obstetrician, yeah, making babies. I will definitely need to read through all these things. Midwife. Oh, there's Cooley. That's so that's Cesar's partner and also the person who does all the finances for Alley Cat games. And oh, there's Mike Nod, family physician. So that's Mike Nod who designed it. And yeah, I'm sure that, oh, I know that person as well. Oh, and there's Alley Cat. I mean, Z. Yep, it feels like this is basically half of the Alley Cat Games team. That's quite funny. So we've got the hospital improvements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And yep, it looks like a bit less than a full deck. There's plenty to get on with, plenty of content, and also what's going on here. And do I want to keep the little envelope? So, yep, there's a lot going on in this box, definitely more than I can just intuit by looking at the bits, and I am excited to read through it for sure. So let me pack that up, and we'll crack on to Dice Theme Park. Josie says, I can see that helicopter being a distraction on the table. Yes. Just people wanting to pick it up and fiddle with it. I totally see what you mean. Like, it's almost like you need to give everyone, a few minutes alone with the helicopter. Need to flatten them out somewhat, I think. Oh wait, I need to make space for the helicopter. Come on, we can do this. Does that work? That doesn't feel right. Presumably it just sits like that. And presumably this, I'm going to call this a Fantasy Flight style insert, which, I didn't even, I don't know what this dice is, but you've got one happy baby on 4 sides and 2 happy babies on 2 sides. So, yeah. Not much to say about that. There we go. I think that kind of works. Once it's all punched, it will be much easier to get back in the box, I'm sure. And okay, that is almost like overly full. I'm going to keep that on top. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put that onto the side just so I don't put anything else on top of it. I'm going to put it there. So now we get to Dice Theme Park, which I really didn't check out very much at all. And Stream Elements reminds me to stretch side to side, so that's what I'm doing. So this was designed by Daryl Andrews and Adrian Adamescu, who, again, I don't know Adrian Adamescu, I know Daryl Andrews, and once again, Mike Nudd came back to do lots of development. I think that Mike's done fairly good stuff, and actually, I'm just looking, you can see a little bit of UV lamination, like setting the people slightly apart from the rest of the background. That's quite cool. See what it says on the back. Okay, so you've got this one. I don't know how to play at all. You've got the hexagons, draft guests, score goals, upgrade attractions, recruit mascots, cascade dice to create combos, expand your park. Interesting. This does sound quite exciting. And you can see the 4 sides. It's got all of the 4 sides are, basically orientated in the same way. And it was illustrated by Sabrina Miramon, who is known for Dice Hospital and also, of course, Photosynthesis, which I think is one of the best games ever. And Sabrina should just be really proud of everything that they do. Is that not just a gorgeous thing? Nice work, Sabrina. Oh, you've got a little character who gives you tips, and It reminds me of Cranky Kong in the old Donkey Kong manual. That's quite fun. I like that. Yeah, like a lot of white space here, but sometimes it doesn't make sense to go straight to the text, so you just have a lot of filler image, which is really nice. Just set the tone. Everything seems really nicely laid out. The start of each page is really clear. Again, another filler image, just so that you don't go doom and then a tiny bit of text. You will just want to give the eye a bit of space to relax. And yeah, you've got, okay, there's quite a bit to read, but I'm looking forward to checking it out. And there's the mini expansions. So the mini expansions is surprises. 6 attraction cards, okay. So there's Jane, who was helping me out, and the skill cards. And also mini expansion innovations. That's quite nice of them to have. And there's a promo pack as well. And there's the solo mode. It feels like quite a bit of stuff in the box. So let's be looking for it, and maybe I'll pop that like that. So you've got this board. Seems to be some score on it. I assume that money is the victory points. End of the game. You get 1 point for every free money, and the stars are the victory points. Okay. So yeah, your stars are your victory points, but each free money also gives you 1 victory point. Fair enough. Lots of hexagons. You can see how they try to keep it visually similar to Dice Hospital, although I'm sure it plays completely differently. I'll definitely be interested to play through it. Not going to do it for the next week, as I am going to be traveling, seeing parents, and then I will be focusing on a LARP for a bit. But this is a really narrow thing. Lots of tokens. I don't know what any of those do. Oh, nice little bag. That is a nice bag. And we've got cute little animals. We've got the yellow giraffes, the green alligators, and also the blue panda type things. That is super cute. Of course, we've got the same colors of dice. You'd want to keep some consistency. That makes sense. Some cubes, I assume that's resources. They replaced the red with the blue. Perfect. That was my one. Yeah. Then you've got also an elephant. So did I miss some Oh yeah, I did. Oh no, they're rhinos. Yeah, sorry, they're rhinos. So there are also green rhinos that I just didn't notice. You've got the fairground wheel. I assume this is like start player marker. I'm not going to eat that silica gel. And some VIP markers. No idea what that does. Oh, that's a fun wee pattern. That feels very party-like and fairgroundy. Just a whole bunch of consultants. 4 consultants, 4 chaperones. I am assuming that these relate to the animals somehow. I'm just trying, I'm assuming they aren't 1 per player, because then there should be 5 of them. But again, I have no idea how this game works. And it's just like, what's going on here? Let's discover it together. Maybe this is for drafting the dice. Maybe it's just a card that tells you what you can place. Maybe these are presumably some. Yep. Some of them have targets on them. Interesting. So there are all sorts of trophies, but these ones are slightly different. So the fewest guests, most guests, highest excitement, lowest excitement. Do you play with 1 of each of these colors? That would make sense. So yeah, you can't have both the most upgraded and least upgraded giving you points. I assume that it's 1 of each. The widest park or the most amenities. Just from my intuition, I would assume that you get one of each of those things, but I might be, again, completely wrong. And these are like the optional things that you go for. So if you manage to do these, you get plus 10 targets. I guess that's another resource in the game. So this one is feels like it has quite a bit more going on than Dice Hospital. And heard that this is kind of going to be in the upper range of the complexity that they would want for a Dice blah game. So whether it's Dice, like if you think about the theme games, you've got Theme Hospital, then Theme Park, then what else did you have after that? Like Theme School? Would you have Dice School where the Dice people are learning and being educated? That might actually be a good idea. Like if you've got an idea for what you'd like for a future Dice game, let me know. Josie says, be interested to see which you prefer, or even if there is a preference between Hospital and Theme Park. I like the way these characters look. It looks like, don't know, are... You know what, I just realised I've not seen a single... Oh, that's like, literally, I've gone through so much of the deck, and that's the first person that could really be described as a white guy, and there's a lot of people of different ethnicities, and yeah, like people who look a wee bit different, and it's a friendly looking bunch. I think that's really cool. I'm really happy to see, especially since Cesar, given their background, just kind of representing, people who have to, who choose to, I should say, for religious reasons. I mean, no one has to eat meat, no one has to not eat meat, no one has to wear a hijab unless your government is forcing you. But yeah, I hope you know what I mean. That's pink, that's that color. These could have been slightly easier to tell apart, but not the end of the world. So let's see what's going on here. Initiative. And I guess these give you things. I have no idea. We'll have to read rules. And this is snapshot. So these are like little amenities. Yeah, I'm going to have to really work out what is part of the base game and what's not, because this is definitely not one that I want to add in all the extra expansions on the first game, I don't think. Hold on just 1 second and I'll... Oh, this looks like it's a bunch of bonus. Are these the same? Yep. I will keep these separate just in case I need them to be separate. So there's a lot going on. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm excited to find out. And it looks well made, it looks brightly coloured, and it looks reasonably approachable. If you are... Look, we are all gamers. If you're watching this, you are almost certainly a gamer, and the question kind of becomes, how much work are you willing to put into learning the things? Oh, that's where the instructions went, or to my left. To the left, everything is to the left. And just to read the credits, again, the designers are Daryl Andrews and Adrian Adamescu, with additional design elements by Mike Nudd. David Digby did the solo game design. Lead developer was Mike Nudd. who did so much development that they wanted to mention they did additional design elements, and Cesar and Simon, David Digby and Brett J. Gilbert. Yeah. So you've got the art, Sabrina Miramon, graphic design, Seb Coziner and Magali Reyes. I don't know Magali Reyes, but I'm sure they're a lovely person. And Florentina Butler. I don't know them, but I'm sure they are lovely. And yeah, I know everyone out of that team except for 3 people. I mean, to the point where I think am I Facebook friends with Sabrina? I'm not sure Sabrina's on Facebook, but we have chatted sometimes. Like, just randomly, I send messages occasionally. I've not done so for a couple of years. But yeah, I see what you're saying, Josie, about the lack of female representation in the names. It's not something that I think all you can do really is to open opportunities to folk. Josie says, could have a DICE space expansion version, building a rocket and getting into space. Who has the best rocket and therefore gets the furthest to space? Oh, I like that. But then what would the DICE represent? Because I think the key thing about all these games is that the DICE, I mean, both of them, the DICE are like meant, like, it's what do the DICE represent? I think that's the key question when you're making one of these. Let me put that there. Okay, so finally. Oh, the DICE are the components on the rocket. Yeah, I can see that. So then the numbers are like how good they are, and then yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. So finally, DICE Theme Park Deluxe add-ons. What is in here? I am expecting it to be similar in nature to the DICE Hospital Deluxe add-on. A bit more plastic, a bit more wood, nothing that is super essential, because this is if you want to deluxify your thing. And if I open it, I should. Okay, we've got monorail miniatures, monorail inserts. Oh, and the Innovations mini expansion and the Surprises mini expansion. So yeah, there are a couple of mini expansions, but it doesn't seem like, it seems like there was already a lot of stuff in the base box. You can't say, oh, I didn't get enough. I mean, okay, so you've got, it's not quite as packed as the other one, but you've got these chunky monorail markers, and to open them up, just to show you what they look like, you've got it's kind of going shoo, 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 like that. I don't know what noise a monorail makes. Maybe it's, I don't know what a noise a monorail makes. Maybe it's, I don't know what noise a monorail makes. But maybe it's one of those. Maybe I'm completely off base. But yeah, you've got some monorail miniatures. That is absolutely a thing that you have. And what's going on with these monorail miniatures? I guess, these are clearly, see, this is something I like in games, when you can sort of see, okay, this space is clearly the right size for this bit of cardboard, and then it goes in here. And presumably these go in here, I'm guessing, maybe, I don't know. Maybe the maples go in here. Maybe the dice go in here, actually. That would make sense. Yeah. It's probably the dice. And so these are numbers. Maybe we need these numbers. I will read up, I guess. And we've got a few extra things. We've got the Oh, okay. So the expansions that were listed in the rules of here are actually in the deluxe box. I get it. Okay, so we've got Jane. Got the person from the front cover, one of them. Got this person who's got bits of facial hair and a slicked back hair. I don't know. And I do feel like all of Sabrina Miramon's art, it's got this kind of just lovely, cuddly feel. Like you just feel like all these people are having such a lovely time and you want to go over and hang out with them and cuddle them. It's just like, ooh. Extra achievements, A, B, 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 B. Fair enough. So what does this mean? I do not know. But will I learn? I believe so. So I'll put it back. The monorail's under track. And I guess I'm really tempted to start reading the rules just to learn, because it's an exciting game, and so I yearn to read it, to learn it, to see how to play. But unfortunately, I have other things I must do today. So let's see, that is... So let me put it now all to the side. And let me finish the stream so I can go to the train and ride. So for now, that's basically the end of the stream. I hope that was mildly interesting looking at what's inside, and thank you for sharing that moment with me. So, question of the day. Here's a little question before we go on our way. When was the last time you went to a theme park? Have you been on a roller coaster? Do you like roller coasters? The last time I went to a theme park was years and years ago, like longer than I can remember. Like, I've never been to... Yeah, I mean, I've never been to a theme park in the UK, I don't think. No, wait. I was going to say, I did go to Euro Disney in Paris, which was really cool. And, you know, there were definitely roller coasters there, but also there was one time, like, I don't know if this counts because it's not quite a theme park, but sometimes they have those pop-up things, and then, like, there's, like, the big swingy things and, like, the fairground things. It's like a pop-up event in Alexandra Park in Glasgow. Or there was, like, yeah, things like that. I've been to, I'm going to say at least 10 years ago, because I've not been I've not been to one since I came to London. Wow. So yeah, that's my question of the day to you. Josie says, that's a lot of game and shelf space to find. Yes, it is. I will probably put it sort of on the side of this table for the moment, and I generally have to find a lot of shelf space for lots of stuff anyway. So can I put it in a less precarious manner to show you all the things? Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount of stuff. I mean, Dice Hospital, Dice Theme Park, Dice Hospital, the deluxe expansions, Community Care, which actually adds extra stuff, and it looks like there's a lot of extra Dice Hospital stuff, and of course the roll and write. The wee roll and writes up at the top. Josie says, a long time ago, probably about 8 years ago, I do like rides, but not ones that go upside down. Do they make you feel sick? Do they make you feel, ugh? I mean, I don't know how I would feel about them nowadays. I like the excitement. I like the, whoa, I'm so scared. I think I might die. Whoa, it's actually okay. Like that is for me my level of excitement rush. Like just being terrified for 5 minutes and then feel like, wow. So now over to you. What are you up to? You can share button if you want to. What are you up to today? What are you going to do? I have some things I would like to post. I have a LARP I would definitely like to write. Other than that, I'm going to be going up north, visiting my parents for a few days, and you might see me from there for the next wee bit. So I'm going to be on a long train ride. I am also going to cook a wee meal, take half an hour to cook a meal, and maybe keep half of it for the train ride. Is there anything that you'd like to share? Anything that you are looking forward to? Anything that you need to do? Feel free to share. I promise that I care. Otherwise, I will recap and wrap up before we finish up. So, I unboxed some games. We talked about plastic. We talked about, there is a lack of female representation in the design and development of board games in general. And in the illustration side or in the RPG side, it's not the same. There is quite a bit of gender representation, I would say. But yeah, here it is definitely not Alley Cat specifically. I just mean in general in board games that's problematic. I opened up these things. They're lovely games. They're well made. The components seem fine. Everything seems well produced and functional. And yeah, congratulations to them for winning the Seal of Approval and the UK Games Expo Awards 2019. That's pretty well done. So if you want to check me out, I am Stuff by Bez in all the places: Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. Search for Stuff by Bez on Facebook. If you want to join my Discord, then go to stuffbybez.com/Discord, just over there. And if you want to find out what I'm doing for future streams, go to stuffbybez.com/streams. I'm hoping that I will get to have a quick chat tomorrow with the people behind Earth Rising, maybe talking about UK Games Expo, I don't know. But I have to reevaluate given that I am going to be traveling. But please share, spread the word, and I want to thank everyone who's been here. Thank you, Timmy. Thank you, Josie, who says, upside down makes me feel weak-legged. And today, Josie is going to have a board game group, trying to decide if they should dye their hair now or after. I would say now. I mean, if you've got time, do it now. If you're going to be stressed about it doing now, do it after. But if you want, do it now, and then you'll be like, hey, everyone, check out my brightly coloured hair. Josie says, I'd like to add one of them to my collection. Not sure which I would like more, theme park or hospital. I think, hopefully we will be seeing each other in the not too distant future. Maybe you can even come to London. I don't know if there's a good place to park, or maybe you can get in some other way. Come over for a weekend when things are more calm, like next month. And yeah, we can play games and stuff. So other than that, yeah, I always feel weird about saying, this is the game you would prefer. I will try to do a compare and contrast. That might be a good idea for a show, rather than me saying how good the games are in and of themselves. Maybe just if you're buying these, which one would you like out of the main three, like Dice Theme Park, Dice Hospital, and Emergency Roll? Because the other ones, you're probably not getting, unless you're like, okay, I've fallen so in love. If you're just getting one, then it's going to be one of these three and ignore the expansion. So which one of these three would I recommend? I will let you know, and I'll try to make a video about it within a month. But yeah, no guarantees on time. For now, lots of love, and I am going to, as always, say bye-bye. bye, bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go through. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, bye, everyone. Bye, bye. Bye.